And good afternoon, everybody. It is exactly 4 p.m. on Friday, the 10th of October. If you've no idea who I am, my name is Ross. This is producer Petch. Together, we run actonthis.tv. That's Act On This TV Actors Network. If you are an actor, you want to learn how to land more auditions, more roles on TV, and you want to hang out with the biggest casting directors, agents, actors, writers, directors, and producers in the game every single week, get over to the website after this. Get a membership. We've got some incredible calls coming up between now and the end of this year. But we're not here to talk about that today, Petch. Well, we will, inevitably, because we will always talk about the membership. We're here to talk about the latest hot topic that is taking over the industry. And if you listen to the internet right now, you'll probably be in fear of your life, in fear of your job. You'll think there's no point in pursuing an acting career anymore because Tilly Norwood is going to take all of our work. So we're here to discuss it all. AI modeling, AI actors, actresses, how AI is, becoming bigger and bigger in our industry. And actually the positives as well as some of the, potential drawbacks of AI as well. So we're going to be live for the next hour. If you are here live, please leave us a comment. Petch will bring those up on the screen for us as people are coming in. And I've got loads to say on this, Petch. I mean, what are your initial thoughts of the frenzy and the furore that's been going on over the last couple of weeks since Tilly sort of hit the internet?
It's weird, isn't it? Like, I know how people react, and working for Act On This quite a bit now, and us going through certain scandals and things that have happened in the industry. It's funny to see how many people are headline readers. They see the glorified or AI is coming over to take all of our jobs. Everyone start panicking, blah blah blah, but they don't delve deep into the article or like the things that have been said about it to weigh up a balanced judgment of it. They act on emotion rather than logic, I think, a lot of the time. I'm still in the reason I've not said anything publicly about this really at the moment is because honestly I don't know enough about it. I mean, yes, I can go, oh no, AI is coming and it looks so good and my job's in jeopardy and blah, 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 blah. But I can't say that for a certainty just now. Plus, who am I? Who am I for AI to take I don't have a job for AI to take.
I mean, AI is gunning for you, Petch. Like, listen, right, we need to take that guy out of the industry. What? He was subbed this week for an ICU nurse on Coronation Street. Tilly, get in there and get his job. And I still hope you get the tape for that, mate. Fingers crossed next week, hopefully. Maybe by the end of today. We're all rooting for Petch, basically, right now, to land. He's had some amazing tapes this year, and I'm just waiting for him to just bag a gig off the back of one of these tapes. He pushes harder than most actors that I know. It's going to come off, Petch. I promise you, it will come off. But I think you have a really good point there, and that's why we do these lives, folks, right? We always do this to try and sort of just educate people in a more rounded way so that you don't get scared of these headlines. We've had it, there's so many things that come out. We've had it this year with the spotlight versus equity thing. People read a headline, they get on board with something that they're not even sure they want to be on board with. There's over the years just been so many sort of scandals and things that people, they kind of like forecast like a really negative future, and they catastrophize a future that never comes true. Never comes true. So what I like to do and what I feel my job is and what I'm happy to do for you guys is I'll go out and do all the research, and then I'll come back and I'll try and bring you a measured opinion on the whole thing, very rounded, the pros and the cons, and then we can all stop panicking and sort of like have a real discussion around where this can actually be useful for us. Yes, it needs legislating without a doubt, and there are things that I'm going to show you today that when I first saw them, I shit my pants and went, wow, it's over. But it's not. It really isn't. Like there is an awful lot that we can do as actors with AI, and I think educating yourself and sort of knowing everything, the inside out of this, the tools that are available to you as actors to use if you want to create your own work as well, knowing all that really kind of puts the power back in your hands. So that's what we're going to discuss today. We want this to be as interactive as possible. I can see lots of comments coming up on YouTube and stuff. If you're watching on Instagram or you're watching on LinkedIn or X, thanks so much for tuning in. If you want to get involved in the chat, just because the software that we use interacts with YouTube the best, if you come over to youtube.com/Act On This TV, subscribe, hit the like button, all that sort of stuff. We go live at least once a week, fingers crossed, most of the time anyway. And we can bring your comments up, like Petch has brought Brendawn's comment. Brendawn's comment. Petch has brought B's comment up. I've been calling him Brendan for 8 years. Found out his name was Brendawn a couple of weeks ago. Read some comments out, Petch. What are people saying?
Yeah, Brindon says, it's really funny. I was talking to George, my AI app, about AI replacing actors. And he said it's really interesting what George said.
Okay, I wonder what George said.
Laura has said, same. I actually don't understand how that works, contract-wise, creative-wise, talent-wise. How does it all actually work?
We will tell you today, or I'll tell you what I know so far. I'm a student as well. I'm doing all the research myself, so I'll share exactly what I know with you all today.
And Yvonne says, I don't want to put it out into the universe.
It's fine, Yvonne. Don't you worry. So, okay, keep the comments coming in. Petch can keep bringing them up on the screen as we go through this. I've written quite a lot of notes, Petch. I've done quite a deep dive on this over the last couple of days because I knew we were going to do this today. Try and keep me on track. I've wrote more notes than I probably needed to. So rein me in if I start waffling, guys. But yeah, we're going to do roughly an hour on this, and then we'll do some follow-ups as well. No doubt, for members of actonthis.tv, I'm trying to hunt down like a specialist in the industry right now on AI who uses this on a production level. Like, you know, someone like top of the game right now who can maybe come and talk to us about this, like, and actually give us real examples of how they're using this, because AI isn't new for a start. Tilly Norwood is new, and I'll show you who Tilly is in a minute, if you're like, who the hell's Tilly? But AI and what we used to call CGI, computer generated imagery, you know, it's been used within the acting industry for decades now. It's just getting more sophisticated, and AI is making it more accessible for people. So ultimately, yeah, this as all the furore is kicked off because a company called Particle 6 really unleashed an AI actress called Tilly Norwood, a completely AI generated actress, onto the industry. They released it. It was just over a week ago, I think. That's when I first saw it happen.
Something
probably
like that, yeah.
Yeah, within the last
2 weeks max.
Yeah, within the last 2 weeks. She looks real. She sounds real. She's not real. She's not a human, right? When today we're going to break down ultimately what this means for you. You know, could AI actors like Tilly replace real performers, or is it all just hype that'll fade once, you know, casting directors and agents and producers actually try to work with Tilly? I've heard she can't hit a mark to save her life. She's late on. She's late on set. So ultimately, we're going to look at what's real, what's not real, and what you can do right now. And this is really important. Honestly, I'm such a believer in this. What you can do and should be bloody doing to stay employable in a world where technology is moving faster than ever. And there's so much you can do as actors that isn't complain about AI online and waste time complaining about it, that could actually have gotten people a job this week rather than writing lengthy posts on Tilly. Okay, so that's what we're gonna you know, talk about today. So I want to go over who Tilly is initially, right? She's a hyper realistic AI actress created by this production company called Particle 6, created by a woman called Eileen, if I can say her name, Van der Velden, okay? She's not a deep fake of a real person. From what I can tell, there's been a few people who've already come out and said, I look at Tilly and I just see me. They've modelled me. It's definitely modelled on me. I don't know. I mean, there's been no, like, well, there's just been no proof of that, really. I'll show you what Tilly looks like in a minute. She just looks like a girl next door. But there are people who have come forward already and said, that's definitely me. I don't know if they're looking for conversation or what, but basically she's built completely digitally. Her first acting appearance was released online, sparks massive debate. Some agencies, this is wild, have reportedly approached to represent her. I mean, I don't know what's going on there. SAG-AFTRA and Equity, other unions, they've publicly condemned her creation, saying it devalues human performers. So ultimately, she's caused a bit of a stir this week. Let me go over to her Instagram. I'll share my screen, and let's show you Tilly Norwood. I'm going to show you a video of her in a minute, so you will see her moving and speaking. You will probably shit yourself because you'll go, God, she's really good. But you've got to remember, in isolation, okay, we're seeing like short clips of her that are 10 seconds long. To create something that's consistent with AI across multiple scenes is incredibly difficult to do right now. It's definitely
61.1 thousand followers already.
I know. I've been trying to get Act On This followers up, and we're at just under 11k. I'm like, come on, we're real people. If you're not following on Instagram, by the way, hit that follow button on Act On This TV. So this is Tilly Norwood. She's British, by the way. Not American. So it says here, this is her fake Instagram profile. It's not fake though, is it? She's sort of real, but not real. It says, Tilly Norwood, you'll either get it or pretend you don't. I'm a creation, AI art. So that's what it's kind of being labelled as right now. Aspiring actress, London, based in London, mostly in cafes. Mild chaos, major delusions. TillyNorwood.com is a website where it's ultimately laid out as if it was an actor's website, like with a blog. She's at the start of her career. She's not super famous yet or anything like that. It's all very sort of like, here I am, starting from the bottom and I'm working my way up. On her Instagram, you'll see AI-generated stills of her doing all the things that people, unemployed actors in London do when they're sitting in cafes, pretending. Yeah, or this one, like, let's pretend that I'm blogging and doing all that sort of stuff. It's 1 a.m. The snacks are gone. The notes are blank. Not because I'm mysterious, just because my brain's left the group chat. Trying to write this essay with nothing but vibes, caffeine and panic. Student life. It's very... I mean, I'm up on the right profile here. I think this is... This is the best one I could find. I think this is their actual profile. But it's very much kind of like, yeah, I'm just a girl in the world just trying to make it as an actor. So they try to be as authentic as possible. But, I mean, you can still tell... I can still tell only because I use a lot of dating apps that use AI. I can tell when these pictures are AI. I'm like, that's not a real person, but it's very good. It's very, very good. And what I'm going to show you now when it comes to video will freak you out. I'm then going to read you a statement from her creator, who's obviously had some
out in the comments.
Please don't, honestly. I'm going to show you how you really, really, really don't have to worry about this. You will see by the end of this that Tilly really is not coming for your job. Really, really, really not yet anyway. We've got many, many years left to get ourselves established. So eventually she can never come for our jobs. I'm going to play out a video. Let me take that off the screen. And this is wild. This is actually very, very good. But remember, every clip you see in this video is short. These are short scenes that are all cut together to make one big thing, right? To create long-form content that's AI is very difficult right now. You can get very compelling, realistic footage for 10, 15, 20 seconds. To create an hour-and-a-half feature film, wow, it's going to be incredibly difficult. But this was a comedy advert that Particle 6 put together. It's very good to kind of announce Tilly. It's a bit of a parody of our industry. Everything you see here is AI. Nothing that you see here is not AI generated, which will show you the power of this. It is very, very good, and it might worry a few people, but we will, I'm sure, as an industry, harness this responsibly. So I don't even think I need to take us off screen patch. I think I can just play this over the top of us. Let's see what happens. Yeah, don't speak just in case we hear us, but it should mute us anyway. Right, none of this is real, by the way. None of it's real at all. And hopefully I won't get banned from YouTube for playing it because I don't own it.
We all knew TV was dead, but thought, why not squeeze in one last development meeting?
We had one rule. No missing children, no dead women, and no reboots of Heartbeat.
We'd pitched this beautiful comedy, two sisters running a funeral parlour in Margate. Warm, weird, very BBC Two.
The commissioner said no. AI generated 100 better ideas in minutes, perfectly aligned to channel data, viewing figures, and optimised for the audience. The winning AI format?
I know what you streamed last summer.
An interactive thriller built from your streaming history and Deliveroo orders.
What? And who could forget the mental health format?
Britain's Got Breakdown. Audience votes on who gets therapy.
Ian Katz loved that one. I remember saying, you do realise this is for BBC Two? It tested ridiculously well, particularly among men who shop at Screwfix and women obsessed with gut health.
All made for less than the catering budget on The Bear.
It cast and budgeted itself. Only bit it struggled with was consent in romantic scenes. We just ignored that.
It wrote the whole script. Claude 3, Gemini, GPT. We called it a writer's room.
It even did its own Silver Mouse paperwork and immediately got Albert certified.
What's Silver Mouse?
Just an elaborate BBC hazing ritual.
Who did it cast?
Tilly Norwood, 100% AI generated.
By some company called Particle 6.
She'll do anything I say. I'm already in love. Girl next door vibes.
Like if a Sunday roast went to drama school and got BAFTA optimised.
But can she cry on Graham Norton?
Of course she can. And it'll be clipped, subtitled, and monetised on TikTok by lunchtime.
We're all going to hell.
Got recommissioned, didn't it?
3 seasons and a podcast.
By an AI commissioner, much faster.
But hey, at least it wasn't a reboot.
So it's good, but you can still tell there's like a drone in their voice, isn't there? There's kind of a, hey, I'm slightly robotic in how I'm delivering stuff. It's not perfect, but that'll give you an idea of kind of where we're at with AI generated video right now. Let us know your initial. I'm really interested in people's like initial freakouts that they're probably going to have.
Everyone was going on about Tilly, but everybody in that was an AI actor.
Every single person in that was AI. There's no one real in that.
No one real. So yeah.
Nothing in that is real whatsoever. Not a single person, a single voice, a single visual, locations. It's all AI generated. Every single thing you just saw is AI generated. Not a single thing was real. So let us know, what you thought of that initially. I do like the what you put there. I like that analogy, Alex. If a Sunday roast went to drama school and got optimized. That's basically what Tilly's like right now. So it's all kind of generated from like short clips, and I'm gonna walk you through sort of like some of the models and some of the systems that they've used to do this. So you can literally go out and play with these yourselves as well. You might have heard of some things like Google VO3 is a video generation model. Sora you might have heard of. Runway you might have heard of. And if you haven't, it's absolutely your responsibility as an actor to play around with these things yourself, because if you understand the tech, you're not going to get freaked out, because you'll also understand its limitations as well. And I think it also levels the playing field for all of us in independent production, where you can go, actually, you know what, I can use some of these tools myself. There's nothing stopping you from cloning yourself right now, playing around with your own clone avatar. We cloned my voice, didn't we, for a voiceover session that we did recently. It wasn't perfect, sort of sounded like me. You know, couldn't do the nuance, couldn't do anything charismatic really. It was, a sound alike, but it wasn't great. I couldn't suddenly go, I'm never going to have to do a voiceover again because this can do it all for me.
So Yvonne says you wouldn't know if no one told you.
Yeah, could be
Laura
definitely
says,
fooled.
Oh my God, speechless, honestly scared.
Don't be scared. Honestly, don't be scared. Don't be scared. I'm here to not freak you out, because we're going to explain all of this and walk through all this.
Alex says the voices are very flat and each clip has kind of the same, but dialogue was actually funny. And B, Brindon says, I find it fascinating. I'm not afraid of AI because it is limited in many, many ways.
It is. And it's going to get better, Bryn. It's going to get better. So there will come a point where it's definitely, I'm going to be really honest today. There are some areas where I think it will just put people out of work in this industry. Not us. It's definitely going to, but this has been the case throughout all history. When people used to, be the people who made horse and carts, and then suddenly the car was developed. I'm sorry, like fewer people are going to use horse and carts, right? Still use them today, but fewer. So there will be areas, I think one of the first that will really be reduced, not go completely, but will be background work. In Hollywood, we're talking like big stuff. I don't think background work on Hollyoaks and Coronation Street is necessarily going to go. I don't think, I think that's going to be one of the last bastions. There'll still always be work on some of the the stuff with less money.
Came in, Yellow Pages is gone. Who gets Yellow Pages now?
Yeah, this is, honestly, we've got to embrace this, and then you've got to learn, like, okay, how can I use this? And also, let's look at the jobs that it will create. It will create a lot of work as well. You might have to, people in production might have to decide they're going to have to skill up and learn more about AI, because some of the previous jobs might literally just be taken over and go. But this is life as a human being, and actually as society moves forward, we all just have to accept this. So
sorry, mate, just before you do move on, we had Lewis Arnold, from the director of The Hack, and we were
on this week.
And we were talking to him about it, and he brought up a really good point of, if you've not seen it yet, I highly recommend people go and watch it on Disney Plus. It's a documentary, the ILM documentary. It's Industry of Light and Magic. It's George Lucas's production kind of company, and he was talking about how when Jurassic Park was made, it was all meant to have been stop motion dinosaurs and things like that, and there was two people sat down in a basement working on a CGI T-Rex, and they brought it to George Lucas and Steven Spielberg and all that lot and said, look, have a look at this, see what you think. And they were adamant that they were never going to use it until they saw it, and it was only a short clip, and they were like, that's it, we need to use that now. And then slowly over the years, stop motion is still a thing, it's still going. I mean, you look at Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, absolutely brilliant, but that's not what people are using for the big effects now. It is CGI.
Yep. It's just a natural evolution of human beings, basically. We will develop new technologies, and hopefully we will be able to control them. The robots won't come and kill us all. But until they do, let's have a look at where AI is already used then, because you just touched on it there, Petch, right? So I just want to show you the reality here, right? It's already here. It's been here for years, but in more limited ways. So there are examples I looked up before of films that have been using AI-like technology, and like I'm going back a little bit to go, when did it start being introduced? And I came up with quite a few examples. So films like the latest Indiana Jones, The Mandalorian, which is a Star Wars thing that I know you're into, Petch. Even films like The Irishman, that was a few years ago now. They all use de-aging and what are called digital doubles. So that was a form of AI, basically, to de-age people, make people, so a character, an actor can play somebody far younger than, like a younger version of themselves. We already were using de-aging. Background, artists and extras. We've had AI-generated crowds in recent TV shows and going on for years. You were saying before Ted Lasso, Petch, for football crowds and stuff. They might get like an initial 25 extras. And then they'll basically film them for the close-ups and stuff with the main cast. But then when you kind of come to a mid-shot or a wide, all of the the football crowds and stuff would all be CGI, all AI generated basically.
Well, one of my first ever jobs was the King's Speech, and I was an sound artist in the King's Speech. I mean, you've seen the video, and there was just like a small amount of us lining up as it like in the army. And then they just got us to move about a little bit, and then they just duplicated us. So when you see the actual thing, it looks like there's loads of us there, and there really wasn't.
Yeah, exactly. And no one went, hang on a minute. Equity didn't go, King's Speech, you're well out of order. You should have had a budget for 5,000 soldiers. That's 5,000 actors you should have paid. We don't have the budget for that. I can't do it, I'm afraid. So it has been around for a while. Voice work, I'm noticing and it's low-grade stuff right now. It's stuff that needs absolutely zero nuance whatsoever. But AI narration in adverts and really low-budget video games. I've noticed some apps and video games that I see advertised. I'm definitely using AI-generated voice. So that's been around for a little while. There are... I did a bit of research before. There are even what are called virtual influencers now. Obviously, we've gone through the age of influencers, and it's still a thing. People who amass a large social media following, they have influence over people, so they can recommend products and blah blah blah. But there are virtual influencers coming in now that are just AI generated models, effectively, that move and speak a bit like Tilly and stuff. You can still tell they're not, they're not real. But there's this one that I looked at before, Lil Maguela, as in like Lil Maguela. Little Maguela, one called Aitana Lopez, and these are earning brand deals. I mean, let's go and look at Lil Maguela. It's not real. Let me just see if I can find. There's part of me going, but part of me is going, why don't if you're a creative, why don't you? I don't mean like monetize yourself, like make up like a virtual influencer of myself, but there's nothing stopping you actually harnessing this technology yourself and going, right, I'm going to create a bit of a side hustle. I mean, this influencer's got 2.3 million followers. Let me share this with you. But there's nothing stopping any human being doing this, going, right, I'm gonna create something myself. Right, Lil Maguela. Look, 2.3 million followers. Not even real. Just a virtual influencer. A little bit wild. Look, a 22 LA robot. There's the robot, right? So this has been happening for a while. You don't get to 2.3 million followers overnight. This has been out there for quite some time. So you can go and have a little look at that if you want to do a bit more research as well. But ultimately, this technology has been around for a while and has been used for ages. There's also, I can't say the word, but you told me it's posthumous, Petch. I was going, how do you say this? Is it post-hummus? I thought that sounds like something Petch would eat as a vegan. But yeah, Carrie Fisher in Star Wars, Peter Cushing in, was it Rogue One?
Yeah.
They were brought back to life by ultimately like CGI, AI or whatever. So ultimately, this technology is not brand new. That's what I want to say, right? You've not been scared of it before because we've not been writing sensational headlines about it. And if we hadn't written a sensational headline about Tilly, you wouldn't be crapping yourself right now, okay? None of this is new anyway. It's definitely getting cheaper. This is something that's really important to understand. It's getting cheaper so more of us can use it. It's getting faster. It's getting better, which means, it will eventually, I'm sure this will filter down from Hollywood that is using it right now to more indie production. And eventually, the reality is that you're probably going to see it in a few years' time on casting calls that you will see on Spotlight. It will probably, there'll be part a hybrid, there'll be part AI generated things that you'll be interacting with. Like when we first saw Roger Rabbit, interacting with animated characters. And people didn't freak out then, did they? Go, that's it. Roger's coming for his Petch. He's going to take every acting job. These animated things. When I saw Detective Pikachu, we went to cinema to see that. And who is it? Ryan Reynolds. Yeah, when Ryan Reynolds is interacting with Pikachu, who's not actually there, who's probably a tennis ball on a stick, and you go, oh, well, that Pikachu could have been played by an actor. You will probably get, this will be really interesting for performance. I'd love to do it. You would probably get hybrid shows where you are acting opposite what become famous AI influencers / personalities, but you can be in a show with them and then capitalize yourself off their 2.3 million followers. Like, it's not, I don't think that there'll be a time where just everything, some shows might be, but like, it's not going to be a time where just every single thing is just AI, the whole cast is AI. There'll be some shows, I'm sure, at some point where they do that just to show they can do it, but it's already happening in terms of like, CGI, animated characters. We as actors, we've always acted opposite stuff that's not real. Gremlins, I don't think they were real, were they, Petch?
No, I don't think so.
Don't think so. Don't get them wet and after midnight or whatever it is. But yeah, that was, I guess, just a form of, a fake actor. They weren't humans dressed up as monsters. They didn't take anyone's work away.
Look at any Marvel film nowadays.
Yeah.
You've got like Thanos, which is a CGI character. Yes, you've got the mocap of the person doing it, which I know that's something that you're going to talk about in a second.
Yes,
but
definitely.
Like the actual Thanos himself isn't there. Sometimes you're playing to a tennis ball, like in Game of Thrones or House of Dragon. Like the dragon is just a tennis ball and you're following that around. And sometimes the sets aren't even real. You're just on a green screen or the volume, if you're talking about Star Wars.
Indy's put the Chucky doll. Yeah, exactly. We've been acting opposite fake shit forever, right? We just have, like the dinosaurs you said in Jurassic Park. We've been acting opposite stuff that's not real forever, and it's not freaked us out like this before. So I think there's a bit of a over freak out happening. So I want to look at the threat here versus the reality. And I'm not saying there's no threat. We're going to look at the actual, the threats that need looking at later. But let's look at the threat versus the reality, right? And this is just to address the fear that people are having right now in an honest way. We're going to separate fact from like fiction and hype here, okay? So I've got a list here of like what AI can do well right now. And you've just seen quite a lot of it, in that video of Tilly there. But it can really do well background and like crowd filler work. It can do that really, really well. And we've seen it do that over the years in various forms of CGI anyway. So if you are solely a background artist, I would definitely start looking at, skilling up. If you want to become, more of a mainstream actor or, get more speaking work, that's something you should definitely be doing now. Go into acting classes. If your whole livelihood relies on background work and you want to stay in the industry, I would be like, right, well, actually, I'm gonna start leveling up. I'm gonna become a better performer, and I'm gonna go for the day player roles in serial drama that pay 10 times what I'm getting paid for doing background work. And I still have to say a couple of lines. I'm probably capable of doing that. And that work's always going to be there. Tilly is not going to be going for the paramedic on an episode of EastEnders. It's absolutely, the technology is cheaper, but it's not that cheap. It's way, way better to pay an actor 500 quid to come and do that, as opposed to go, right, can we get a whole studio of like, AI experts to come and bring in this paramedic here and somehow, get them to lift the stretcher up and then we have to levitate it on set. Like, it's just pointless, right? If you're a background artist, I'd start leveling up in terms of your actual craft and your ability to to get the more entry level acting work. It can do quick turnaround content very well. So if you were a small business online and you needed a 10-second advert for an Instagram reel, AI could do that. That's something that if you've got your own side hustle, you could probably look at doing. Voiceovers for very generic products and projects, like I said before, that require no nuance, no charisma, no performance. Literally as if like the Zoom recording voice. What does it say on Zoom when you hit record? We do it every week. What's the actual words? It says every week
recording in progress.
That's it. Like I say, God, I must have done 10,000 Zoom calls. I couldn't remember what it says. Yeah, recording in progress. I mean, that's a synthetic voice, isn't it? It's not real, I don't think, anyway. Otherwise, that person would be due a lot of royalties the amount of times that's said a day. So, like, really generic kind of zero emotion voices it can do well. And it can also do, it kind of stunt, all the stuff you see in Marvel, like you said, Petch. AI modelling around explosions, cars flying through the air, trucks that would cost millions of pounds blowing up. Although I know the new Spider-Man's doing a lot more real stuff, isn't it? This time, it's not relying completely on AI. Tom Holland
matching it together.
Yeah, it's like more real, like hybrid stuff, real and AI. But it can do all that stuff quite well as well. Here's what it can't do, right? And this should hopefully make you feel a little bit better. And it really can't do this stuff right now. It cannot do authentic, emotionally layered performance. It just can't. You saw Tilly, and you saw all of those people there. They can wave a little bit, and they can say some stuff that the lines can be funny, but the delivery isn't necessarily great, is it? I thought the script was good in that video, but the way it was delivered, you could tell it was monotone. You know, there wasn't much nuance between the lines. It was all short, short little pieces so they can get away with it. But it can't do emotionally layered performances. It cannot improvise at all. It has no creative choice. It takes a human being to type a prompt into it to tell it exactly what to do. Like when you're using ChatGPT, the more precise the prompt can be, the better the output. So it needs somebody to create those prompts that are incredibly detailed. What are you laughing at?
Just remembering the bloopers, was it at the end of Toy Story or something?
Yes.
Like the Pixar thing. It's like, but they were, I know there were bloopers, but they were programmed bloopers. They were, for it to be a blooper, like you said,
someone wrote the bloopers. Tom Hanks performed the blooper. Yeah,
and they CGI'd it and everything. Yeah,
yeah, no, definitely. So it can't improvise. It's got no creative choice of its own, right? It absolutely, because it has no even like awareness of it. It cannot do genuine chemistry with scene partners. It doesn't even know the scene partner is there. So when you're having things where you go, okay, you could animate it and stuff, I'm sure, but passing stuff, props, doing all this interaction, it can, it can mesh characters together, but the characters themselves are not aware the other person's there, if you know what I mean. So it has no genuine chemistry. It just knows when to speak. It can't improvise off what someone says. It's just not there yet. I'm sure at some point it will be, right? I'm talking like 7 years down the line, I'll probably be back on here going, right, here's what it can do, everything we can do, right? But it has no genuine chemistry right now. And it cannot carry a show through charisma and subtlety, ultimately. When you look at that, there's no real, genuine human charisma. You can, I don't know what you would even call it, but when you watch that video there of Tilly, yes, it's impressive, but I can still sense something's off.
Yeah.
It's not quite right. And that's the best you can get right now, what you've seen there. It's why it's caused such a furore. What is that? That's a phrase I've heard people talk about, the uncanny valley. What is that?
It's when the way that it's been explained to me is when you watch somebody speak, it's just the way that the face and things move, like the way that your mouth muscles move, the way that your eyes, your little lines in your eyes and your forehead and things like that, the way that the jaw moves, the way that the tongue goes, and the way that the teeth, because it's all like connected to us. Whereas when it's AI, it's all synthetic. It doesn't have, you just don't, there's no soul to it. It just looks like the mouth is going up and down, and it just doesn't look real. And our eyes are trained to see the fakeness in it, which is why when Brindon said earlier, the de-aging in the Irishman got absolutely slated.
Yep.
Because yes, they did look younger, but as soon as they started talking, it just looks fake. Your eyes are tuned to find the fault in it.
Yeah, no, because I saw someone in an interview use the phrase "uncanny valley." I didn't know what they meant, but yeah, that makes sense. You can just, there's a humanness that you're just like, it's off. It's just not quite right there. It doesn't seem right. It's a bit like where I've seen these skits online where like you'll get a really fit young athletic guy who can do 1 million pull-ups, and then he puts on a really old man's head, mask and stuff, and then goes onto the beach to work out, and everyone thinks he's a frail old man, and suddenly he starts doing all this crazy movement. You're like, hang on a minute, this doesn't match. I don't believe he's actually that old, because you know it's fake, even though the mask looks so real. You're like, no, it just doesn't match up. Something's not right here. So let's look at actually sort of like what AI tech is and why this stuff right now isn't kind of matching, because people don't even really know what AI is. You're like, well, what is AI? It's actually really three things. It's three layers, right? And this is what I would really recommend people go and play with, right? First of all, it's generative in terms of you give a prompt, a written prompt. It could be, you are a 5'10", brown-haired, British actress called Tilly. In this scene, you're wearing a brown jacket, you're walking towards camera, the camera moves from left to right. As you walk in slow motion, the wind blows your hair and it's raining. You have to give it these prompts, and AI will generate, through video models, it'll generate that scene for you. Now, it's very difficult to generate two scenes that are really consistent with one another, where the character looks exactly the same, it's moving exactly the same, it's talking exactly the same, it's got 5 fingers in each scene. Some scenes it'll have 6. It's not quite great. But ultimately, yeah, that first layer is this generative AI and this video. It could be a picture, actually, it could be a picture or a video. And there are models out there that I want you to go and play with, right? The first one's called Sora, Sora. Muck around with it this weekend, right? You can go and play with these models. That's by OpenAI, the company that make ChatGPT. There's another one called Runway, and there's another one called Synthesia, and there's one called Google VO3. Let me just go over to Sora, actually, just to show you it, so you can you're aware of this. Because you've got to be responsible for your career. You've got to educate yourself on this stuff. Then you won't panic.
Doing that, I can already hear some people say, "But I don't want to play around with AI. I don't want to teach it anything." I don't want to be the person that teaches it to then better me. Yeah,
but people get left behind then. Ultimately, the people who said, I don't want to, learn how to use the internet before the internet came out. I don't need the internet, and let's say you had a brick and mortar business before the internet came out. You're like, no, I'm fine advertising on billboards. I'm absolutely fine advertising in the newspaper. I'm fine putting my casting briefs out at the back of the Stage newspaper. I don't want them to go online. I'm not interested online. You might as well just say goodbye to anything that you've built. If you've got a brand these days and you're relying on, I'm not saying billboards don't still work. They will still have some impact somewhere. But if you're relying on a billboard as opposed to going, right, as a business owner in 2026, I should be running a £5 a day Facebook ad to my ideal audience, because Facebook can tell me the age, the background, the earnings of my people, the job that they do. You're just killing your career. So if people want to kick back against this stuff and they go, I'm not interested in any of it, I'm going to stick my fingers in my ears, game over. The same as people who have gone, I'm never self-taping. I don't want to do self-tapes. I want to be in the room. I'm older. I don't know technology. Well, say goodbye to your career then. There becomes like this brutal honesty that I've got to give you. Like, I'm not saying if you don't learn this stuff, you're going to be out of a job, because there'll be other people who will deal with all this AI stuff. But what I'm saying is learn to use this stuff, because it could be useful in your own career. It could be useful in your social media. It could be useful when it's editing, stuff that you want to do, your creative practices. If you're an actor who wants to sit there and wait for everyone else to create content for you to be in, you're going to be waiting quite a while. It's possible to have a career doing that. You could definitely just go, I'm never going to create anything myself. But the biggest actors that we know that are experiencing the most success are the ones who are creating their own work, their own short films, their own web series. They're winning the biggest awards in the world doing that, and then it launches their career. So I just think you'd be daft to stick your fingers in your ears and go, I'm not going to play around with this stuff. Because at least if you play with it as well, you'll learn its limitations, so you won't be scared. You'll feel more empowered. You'll feel more motivated in the industry, and you won't feel like it's all coming crashing down. So this is Sora here. You can go and just check this out. It's just openai.com/index/Sora, or just Google Sora. And you're creating video from text, basically. You can read all about it. You can even start creating stuff for yourself. But this is, these are examples of just, look how real like this stuff looks. You'll find it's only short clips though. It can't do long form stuff. You can't go create me a 10-minute video, script it, do all the sound. Not all of these video models even do sound. They'll just do video. And that's the next layer of AI that needs to be added. It's not a one-stop shop where it'll do everything for you. So check out Sora. You check out VO. It's spelled VEO3. That's Google's product. There's something called Runway as well that you can muck around with. And then we'll go into the second part of AI generation, and that's what's called voice synthesis. So it's ultimately AI cloning of human voices. So we create, through generative input, we create the video and the imagery. Then we've got to add the voice. And that's a completely different process as well. If you want to play around with voice stuff, use a company called 11 Labs. It'll cost you £5 a month. Get a month of it. Just muck around with it. There's a free version anyway, but that's what we clone my voice on, Petch, for that voiceover session.
Yeah.
11 Labs. It's spelled as the word 11, ELEVEN, 11 Labs. You can do voice synthesis and generate your own AI voice from your own voice on that. And once you've given it enough of your voice, so you would upload a sample of your voice, you can just type in text and it'll just read it as you. So let's say, for example, you wanted to put a voiceover on an Instagram reel, and you're like, actually, you know what? I don't want to set up a microphone, or I don't want to do this because it's, you know, I just don't want to do this for whatever. I want a shortcut. If you had cloned your voice on 11 Labs, you just type in the entire script, reading whatever it is you want, put it in, it'll do it for you, output it, lay it over your reel or whatever you're doing, narrate a story. You know, there's things that you can be doing with this technology right now. And then the third layer is then once you've got the video, or you've got like the fake face or whatever it is that you're generating, you've got the voice, you then need to, you know, use some kind of motion capture or performance mapping to do the movement. And that's, you know, humans ultimately have still been acting that stuff out. I don't know enough about this, but I don't know if there's going to be more of an explosion around motion capture for these avatars, because that's something that, you know, the models and the systems need that data of how humans move properly. So if you really wanted to get super, super realistic AI models, you'd still, you know, based on you, for example, Petch, you know, we'd want all your mannerisms. If we just put Petch's face and his voice onto something that didn't move like Petch, you go, no, that's not Petch, it looks fake. So, you know, we'd need you to produce the, you know, the motion capture there, Petch. So there's still, to a certain degree, the truth is that there's still a real actor behind every AI actor right now. The tech can kind of fake the face. It can't fake the soul of these models. And that's why you can watch a video like we watched before and go, it's good, but there's something it's still a tiny little bit off. So AI modeling right now, yes, is 3 levels deep: generative image or video, voice synthesis, and then motion capture, or like, you know, some kind of like, you know, performance mapping or whatever they would call it, you know, of that model. So that's what we're doing there when we're creating these things. It's created from 3 kind of layers. So that kind of makes sense so far. And what are people's thoughts like around this stuff? Is it making a bit more sense? Are you gonna kick back and go, I don't want to go and even look at what Sora is, or will you at least Google it this weekend and just go, hang on a minute, maybe I'll type something in and just see what I can do? Do let us know in the chat, and Petch can bring some comments up. Because
Brindon said, don't forget mocap.
Yeah, so that's it. So yeah, so motion capture. I think honestly, Brendan, I don't know Brindon. Fucking hell. It's B. I know, but I forget to say that. I'm never going to say that. I'm going to say Bryn. But yeah, I don't know if there's going to be more of that work. That's something to really talk about with Jessica Jeffries and Emma Sylvester next time we have them on Acts on This. They do a lot of mocap stuff, performance capture. Whether their side of the industry is actually, you know, heating up. It's becoming more and more. I don't know what the answer is to that.
Yvonne's going to have a look. So
there you go.
She's being swayed.
There's one person, nice one, Yvonne, who will do, you know, a little bit. I'm really excited by it, honestly. There's definitely stuff, and I'll go on to that in a minute. There's definitely stuff that I'm like, right, here's the dangers and here's where it does need sort of, you know, reining in a little bit. But we'll touch on that in a minute. I want to look at the industry reaction now, because it's been a little bit mental.
Sorry, mate. Laura says, it's making sense. I'll definitely have a look. But I also think AI makes us lazy, like make it do your voiceover instead of doing it yourself.
Well, you can look at it 2 ways, Laura. So it depends. Yeah, it's semantics, that, and the use of language. You could go, actually, it makes me lazy, or it makes me really productive because my output can be 10 times what it could be if I was recording this myself, because I can type way faster than setting up mics, recording stuff, editing stuff, and putting it together. It's only going to make you lazy if you still only do the 1 piece of content a week that you would do anyway. If you suddenly go, well, hang on a minute, this frees me up to produce 10 pieces of content this week that can promote me, my business, my career, it suddenly made you way more productive and your output is way higher. So I think it depends on which way you're going to look at it. And I'm not saying that that's all pros. I think like the internet has made us so productive that actually what would have took us a week, we can now do in a couple of hours. And that just means that we end up going, right, well, I can do 3 weeks work in 1 week, but then I have absolutely no downtime whatsoever because I'm just cramming my days full of work. I've definitely, you know, fallen for that. I can go, oh my God, I can get so much done. And then you just end up doing so much work that you never have time off. So I think getting some kind of semblance of balance. I don't really think balance exists in the world in terms of when you're looking to achieve great things. It just doesn't. I think, you know, there just are seasons of your life where you just go, right, you know what, for the next 3 months, this is just going to be really, really hard work. So yeah, I think it depends how you look at it. You know, on one hand, you could say it makes people lazy because they can do things easier. Or I'm like, well, if it's easier, can we do more of it? and therefore I'm not lazy. I'm actually producing way more stuff, and I'm making a year's progress in a month. So the industry's reaction has been terrible. Okay, so no surprise that you've all been sold this narrative that it's awful and it's really, really bad. SAG-AFTRA, the American Actors Union, came out and immediately condemned Tilly's creation. Equity weren't far behind. This is something in terms of like legislating this. I don't think people should violently attack it, because I think there's loads of good, and I think we should work with it, and they'll end up being a way to work with this technology to really improve the industry. But this is something that I would be on board with Equity spending my subs on, to just make sure that this is done responsibly. Not attack it and try and close it down, because it's not going anywhere. The studios have far more money than Equity could ever wish for, even though they make $12 million a year, and I don't think they spend it on anything good at the minute. But I'd rather them spend it on tackling, like AI safety in the industry, as opposed to trying to shut down Spotlight. I think it's disgusting, basically. But you know my thoughts on that. So Equity weren't far behind. They've gone, right, okay, we're just going to kick off about this. I'd like to see some solutions from them, as opposed to just kicking off. Talent agencies, this is interesting. Some talent agencies in America, I found, so WME were one, are now actually opting clients out of AI systems like Sora. So I don't know how they're doing this. I need to do more research on this. I don't know if they're getting in touch and going, right, we want to make sure that there can be no info from these clients that can even get into the system. I don't know any more about that, but I've noticed that I saw that in a Deadline article or a Hollywood Reporter article, where it's like, right, some agencies are opting their clients out of systems. I'd like to know more about it and why and all that sort of stuff, but that's something that's happening. And there are some new US and UK laws emerging around likeness rights, consent, and compensation. And this is the ethical question, Patch, that I don't know the answer to, and I don't think there is an answer right now. If there are any like legal boffs here, I would love to know, because I don't think there is a law around this. But I genuinely don't know who owns a performance. Because you might think it's me, I'm the actor, I own the performance. Well, do you? Because if I'm filming you in public, you own nothing. I can film you in public, you have absolutely no right to the video footage whatsoever, and I can keep filming in public and you can do nothing about it. I can put it on YouTube, even if it makes you look like an idiot, you have no say around that whatsoever. So do I own the performance when I'm in something? Does the studio, who I've signed away this performance to, own it completely? Or, because there's no laws around this right now, if that is fed into, like I fed my voice into 11 Labs AI, does that algorithm that's been trained on my voice own that likeness to my voice now? I literally have no idea. So that's the ethical question that I would love Equity to spend money on, actually getting to the bottom of, and then legislating as an industry so that we can be safe there. And this, but the kicker is that there is literally, as far as I can tell, and I've tried to research this before, there is no consistent legal protection for your digital likeness in the UK, which means technically someone could train a model on your showreel footage. And I don't know where anyone stands on that. I genuinely have no clue. And that's why it is important to stay informed. And I'm behind Equity being vocal about this in the industry, because I don't know the actual answer to that. If anyone here does, or if anyone's watching the replay and you're like some sort of intellectual property rights lawyer, I don't know. I couldn't find an answer when I was Googling that. And I was even asking AI. Yeah, I even asked AI. I went, no, don't know. Right. Okay, are you just saying that to cover for your own back? because you know we're all going to sue you. So what I'd like to do on the basis of that now, a little poll, and please, if you're watching on the replay, leave an answer to this as well, because I still love to see your comments, right? Particularly on YouTube, right? That's where we can monitor stuff. If this was all safe, let's say, right, we create new UK laws that makes this safe, okay, and agents know about it, it's in contracts and all this sort of stuff, and you are compensated. Give me an answer. There are three options here. Would you license your likeness to AI for extra income? And give me either a hell yes, a maybe, or a no chance in the chat. I just want to know. And you would have the rights to it, okay? So it's done respectfully, it's done legally, and you are compensated appropriately. It just means you could be out, doing your episode of Corrie Petch, while AI Petch could be doing a piece of camera for Warburton's as a commercial for their new loaf of bread. Would you be happy licensing your likeness to AI for extra income if it was done properly, because this is the reality of where this could go, and it could open up more opportunity for you to earn money without having to do more work.
So we've got a no chance from Connor.
Okay.
No chance from Laura. No thanks from Shoaib.
Even if it was done properly and above board, and there was no chance that you're being ripped off. There's no chance of you being ripped off. It's legally done on a contract, and if they want to renew the usage of that advert, for example, they would pay you again, just like they would do in voiceover or any other show like you've given, you've performed in actually as you as a person.
Absolutely, from Brindon.
If it's done properly, I'm an absolutely. For now, I'd be a maybe because I'd need to see the contract.
Yvonne says, if I had the full rights to it and I was making money, then yes, okay, why not? But I'll educate myself more about it first.
Yeah.
Alex says it depends. If it meant that I don't get to act ever again, then no, I wouldn't.
No, you do your jobs that require the nuance, and it just means you can be in more than one place at a time.
Shoaib is still 100% no.
He's like, forget it.
Samantha is a maybe. And Brindon says it's like getting repeats, but without having to do the work.
Yeah. It's happening in voiceover already. I'll just let you, to be aware of that. It's happening in voiceover already. My agency is quite at the forefront of this in terms of licensing voices for smaller jobs, so that you can go, right, okay, those 250 quid jobs where you'd have to, put in an hour's work and read a 60-second script for a very small business that, requires very little performance nuance. It could just be an instructional video, for example, of how to install a piece of software, or I don't know. I did some videos once for B&Q. I know it's IKEA. Oh, was it B&Q? That was explaining to people how to make a wardrobe they had built. If my AI voice could do that and I could still get 500 quid as opposed to actually do it, I'm so down for that. Because then I can go and do a job that can earn me more money, or I can hang out on YouTube and talk to you lot and have a laugh. I would still do it. So yeah, it's just interesting. I just wanted to know where kind of like people stand on it. And it is at a point where we just, it does need, more laws and stuff. And a bit more legislation, but I believe that's one of the best case scenarios. I'm going to look in a minute at what I think could be a best case scenario for this, and also what could be the worst case scenario for this. So next thing I want to look at,
we've got about 8 minutes left.
I've got 2 more things I want to look at here. I want to look at how to future-proof yourself and your career as an actor right now, and then I want to look at the best case versus the worst case scenario. So I'll try and get this in the hour. So let's look at some sort of empowerment strategies now, just to leave you feeling strong and not scared, right? Okay, ultimately. I don't quite know where to start on this. What I want to say, right, is we want to double down on humanity, ultimately. I think to future-proof yourself, we want to double down on who you are as a human. And that might mean also diversifying your career as well. So that could be potentially, if let's say that there were people who just did the background work right now. I know the actors in the Acts On This community are actors who, audition and land speaking roles and stuff. But let's say you were just a background artist right now and you want to stay in the industry and you think, actually, there'll be less opportunity down the line. Particularly in the big productions that can afford the AI. That is probably likely in the next 5 years. I would be looking at skill up. I'd be looking to level up. I'd also be looking to maybe, if you just love acting, this isn't for me. I don't love theatre. But I would be like, well, hang on a minute. AI is not going to replace me in the theatre world. That's just not a reality, okay? People pay for theatre because they want to see live performance. Even if AI could somehow holographically be used in the theatre, we don't really want to see it. I love going to the theatre in the odd times that I go because you are seeing live human interaction. I don't want to go and see it if it's AI. I'm not paying for it to be AI. That's an area I think is really protected in the arts, because there's a reason we're going to live performance. Cinema, I don't care. I don't care whether it's an AI person or it's a real person. I'm going for the emotional experience that I'm connecting with on the screen. In the theatre, that's impossible. So diversifying theatre, voiceover, definitely looking at this stuff for self-produced work, and also, just upping your on-camera skills as well in terms of going, well, hang on a minute, if I can get incredible at these nuanced performances, maybe my comic timing, I can really start doubling down on that. I'm becoming so accomplished that I'm still going to be light years ahead of these AI models that just can't do that stuff yet. Just becoming a better actor, ultimately, is this. Doubling down on your humanity as an actor. Collaborating with AI, I think is something that, to future-proof yourself, like go and muck around with 11 Labs and Runway and Sora this weekend. Just create some of your own content for a laugh, see what you can do there. Brand building. This is really important. What I mean by brand, we talk about this all the time, Petch, on Act On This, is really just your reputation. Casting directors ultimately will still cast people they know. Casting directors don't want to cast robots either, or AI, people they've never met. We had Victor Jenkins on this week, one of the best casting directors in the industry, for Act On This members, talking about the latest drama that he's got out, The Hack. David Tennant, Toby Jones, Robert Carlyle, brilliant actors in that. Neil Maskell we had on that as well, great actor. And we had the director, Lewis Arnold, on as well. And a big part of Act On This is to bring people on that you should be making aware that you exist. I think my whole job at Act On This, and yours as well, Petch, is to introduce these actors to people that they should know.
Yeah.
Because your career is built on the relationships. So if you're sat there, and I mean this with love, complaining about AI and doing F all to actually make human beings in the industry know that you're a human as well, you're kind of being hypocritical. If you're like, I want to work with humans, but no humans know you even exist. Like, you've got to build your brand. To future-proof yourself as an actor, you have to get out your comfort zone and have conversations with people that you do not know. And if you join Act On This.tv, we will introduce you to the biggest names in the game every single week, and I'll even give you their email addresses. We gave Victor's personal email address out on that live call this week. It's in your members area right now if you weren't there live. You should absolutely, when you are ready and you've got compelling material, your spotlight is banging, and you've got great showreel footage on there, you should be reaching out to Victor to say, hey, Victor, love The Hack. Love to be, I know you're working with Lewis on more projects, because I know he is. Can't tell you what they are, but he is. I'd love to be considered. Like, here's some really compelling footage of me. And Victor tells you in that chat what he wants in an email, how to make it so simple for him. So building your brand, really, 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 really important. And then another thing that we can all do as a community, and I'm not normally one of these crazy activists. I'm like someone who's just like, look, I'm gonna not complain about everything and just work with what's going on. I'm gonna just make my own way in this industry. But I do think together we can push for protection in this area. I think it does need protection because it's so new. So we just need to sort of hopefully Equity will do something good this year, and they will look to support ethical practices around AI policies. And I don't know what they're doing on that score right now, but I would imagine they are doing that. So they're the things that you can do to future-proof yourself. Double down on humanity, get better at your job ultimately, diversify into different areas, theatre, for example, collaborate with AI, learning about it, build your brand, make sure casting directors know you exist, and then we can all push for protection in this area. AI cannot replace you, but it can. This is a little soundbite, if I can frame this right. So AI can't replace you, but I would say it can replace the version of you that stops evolving. It's quite deep. Nice. Yeah, genuinely. Because that's the case, like we said before, it's the case for everything. The businesses that relied on the Yellow Pages, Petch, if they didn't evolve, they've been replaced. It's as simple as that. So the actors who will win in this new era are the ones who will just learn to use the tech, not run from it. Effectively, yeah. I really believe in that. I really, really believe in that. And then lastly, we'll just look at best case versus worst case. Any other comments come up, actually, you want to read out?
Yeah, Alex said, I get your point, Ross, about being somewhere else and doing a job while AI could be doing your job somewhere too. I'm barely getting one job as it is, so I wouldn't want to give that to my AI clone.
But that's the thing. Yeah, I mean, you have a choice then. If you've got time on your hands, if the one thing you've got is time, as a resource, it's very, very precious. But if you've got that, then yeah, you would be able to go, no, I'll turn up to the studio in person, and I'll even do it for the lower fee, because they might go, well, you know what, we know we could get an AI voice to do this, so the basic studio fee that would have been $250, we want to do it for $150. Now the agent can say, okay, right, we've got all these AI voices that are good, and they'll be able to do a decent job of this, but it'll be an AI voice. It won't have the nuance and the performance ability. Or we've got Alex, who's free actually, and he's prepared to come to the studio for $150 in human form, and he can do more of the emotive, charismatic stuff. So you have an option there. But if you were already on a job, Alex, and your agent rang you and said, hey, Alex, I just got you another £500 today for nothing, I'm sure you'd be like, all right, sweet. That'll do for me. So that hopefully at some point in your career, you will get to a point where you are, a bit more in demand and you need to be in two places at a time.
And when you were talking about holograms, like AI not taking away theatre or anything like that, you said it could be a hologram though. And you say people don't want to see it, but then people do go and watch ABBA Voyage.
When people are Yeah, and that's what, when people are kind of like unable to, I saw like a lot of people went and saw the Freddie Mercury concert because he's dead. Are members of ABBA dead? I don't know. There's got to be a couple of them. I don't think they're all still alive, are they? So where it's not possible, I would go and watch a theatre performance of Michael Jackson hologram because he's not alive. And I was going to go to the This Is It tour, and I was gutted when he died. I was like, my God, he was a hero of mine growing up. But if it was a play that I wanted to go and see, and it was all holograms, I mean, maybe for the novelty once, but if I wanted to go and see The Lion King at the West End, there's no way I'm going to watch a hologram performance of that. I'm not sitting in my seats just going, and it's just the holograms. I'm like, hang on a minute, where are the puppets? Where's the humans creating the puppets? The spectacle of The Lion King is this incredible puppetry. I don't know if anyone's seen The Lion King. I've seen it. It's brilliant. Look at, like, yeah, so that sort of stuff. Moulin Rouge. It's what a the West End Theatre musicals, like what a freaking spectacle. You can't recreate that. I don't want to. Just my taste. Maybe some people would, but just my taste, I wouldn't pay for that. But I would pay really good money for the in-person stuff.
There's an electricity about live performance, isn't there? And it's musicals,
and an unpredictability as well.
That's exactly what I was getting on to. Like in musicals and in just straight plays and comedies and things like that, like things can go wrong. And we as an audience love it when things go wrong, and seeing how the actors with their years of training and skill set behind them can get themselves out of it, if they can get themselves out of it and stuff like that. If you're going to go watch a carbon copy of a play night after night after night, you might as well just stick a film on.
Yeah. So there was a technical malfunction during The Lion King where little Simba was climbing up the mountain and then it all just collapsed and stuff. He was fine, but
notorious for it.
We had like a 10-minute break while they reset it and then got him back on and it was all fine. But it didn't take away. Actually, added to go. You know what? The skill that's involved in this and just the technical mastery of the set even. I wouldn't want to go and see that as hologram. I mean, I just don't see a way where live performance is ever taken over by stuff that's not real. It might be enhanced.
That's what I was going to. Next thing I was going to say. It could add to it, such as Stranger Things that had elements of screen and
video.
Live theatre, and that was good. So
best thing I've ever seen.
Maybe bring in an AI element to it potentially, but nothing beats live performance.
Yeah. Stranger Things. Yeah, Stranger Things in the West End, the best thing I've ever seen on a stage, and that did have it was a bit of it messed with your mind because there were screens that were so subtle. Anyway, with my eyes, they're not very good. I just could not differentiate between what was on the stage on a screen and what was a real person. So there were doubles, digital doubles, like we said before, in that performance, and it was incredible. But it was only incredible because I knew there were real people on the stage and I couldn't figure out who was real and who wasn't. If I knew they were all digital, I'd be like, okay, yeah, it's nice, but it's just like watching the cinema. I get it. You could probably give me a counter argument for every argument that I give here, but it's just I don't know, believe.
But like you said there,
humanity.
Watching somebody who you can no longer see, and Brindon has corrected us in the chat here. Apparently, ABBA old, not dead.
Oh, bless him. Good on you, ABBA. Yes.
But, they're not going to be bouncing about the stage like they used to. Michael Jackson, you're not going to get to see him anymore. Like, imagine if you brought back an Elvis hologram, how many people would go nuts for that. And Freddie Mercury.
And ABBA can't be, if they're not at the top of the game anymore and they can't be in 10 cities at the same time, their management company go, we can put on 10 concerts tonight, ABBA. Do you want to be recompensed for all 10? I'm not breaking it all down to money, but I'm just like, it is important. It really is. Finances are important. It's one of the biggest struggles performers have. They tell me they don't have enough time, they don't have enough money. So if you can get paid more for doing equal amounts of work or less, I just think that most people would probably be interested in that. To wrap up, I was thinking before on just like a couple of like worst case scenarios versus best case scenarios, right? Mm-hmm. So let's just imagine like two futures really, really quickly. I think worst... It's not, I don't think it's going to happen here, right? It's like, right, worst case scenario, studios replace every background performer, every small part. There's no consent, there's no pay. I mean, that's, it doesn't, the big names and the bigger roles are still always going to be played by humans, I would imagine. But, the real small stuff, the background stuff, I think worst case, you might go, okay, well, a lot of that's going to go, particularly background performers. If you are a background performer now, and that's all you do, please start leveling up. It's the same as the black cab drivers who knew Uber was on its way 3 years before it arrived, if they sat in their black cabs and they were like, I'm still going to buy a new black cab that's 60 grand, they're very, very expensive, I think, black cabs, knowing that Uber was on its way, it had been in New York, it had been in San Francisco, you know, they knew it was coming to the UK. If they sat there with their fingers in their ears going, la, 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 I don't care, they're probably wishing they didn't right now. They're probably, hang on a minute, I maybe should have sold my cab when it was worth more money, and maybe just got a car and did Uber. There are still black cabs, aren't they? But I imagine they're not as in demand as they used to be. Because
the next thing that's coming over now is that Waymo.
Oh God, yeah, driverless cars. Yeah, and that's another thing. If I was an Uber driver right now, I'd be thinking, okay, I might only have a couple more years at this before all these are going to be driverless cars. So maybe, again, I want to start upskilling and doing something else. We have fair warning about this stuff, folks, which is something I'll go into in a minute as well. Best case scenario, and this is what I was saying there, I think the best case scenario is actors, you know, it's all legislated, it's all written into contracts, and we get to license our digital doubles, we get to earn royalties and use AI tools to speed up production so there can be more seasons of stuff. So whereas there could be one season of, we mentioned Stranger Things before, let's just pretend Stranger Things is back. You know, we get one season a year of that on Netflix.
One season's coming out soon. It's really good.
I've not caught up on hardly any of it. I've got so much to watch. But yeah, the next big thing gets, you know, one season a year on Netflix because post-production is very expensive right now and it's slow. AI comes in and goes, hang on a minute, I can take all the heavy lifting off you. So yes, again, people behind the scenes of post-production might lose their jobs in the current format but get new jobs working with AI. If you're working behind the scenes in post-production, you need to start learning about this stuff, otherwise you'll be caught out. So what can happen though is if AI takes the heavy lifting and it becomes cheaper, we go, hang on a minute, we're saving so much money on the post-production, literally millions of dollars. We could do 2 seasons of this new show a year, which means the actors get 2 goes at it. They get 2 jobs, twice the money. So that's like the best case where I see this going. We start to license our digital doubles. We get paid royalties fairly. We use the AI tools as an industry to speed up production, thus offering more opportunity, you know, more auditions for actors, more roles up for grabs in a 2nd, 3rd season a year. Which one we get, I don't know. I guess it depends sort of like, you know, one, on how loud people are now, and people are being loud about this. Hopefully Equity do something good. You know, we would want them to work with, not kick off. I don't think you get anywhere by just being violent and kicking off and protesting. Work with the companies that are doing this right now. And, you know, and we'll all stay informed. We'll protect the craft, embrace innovation, and we'll this is the thing, we will shape the tech instead of letting it shape us. Because that's kind of what if you're going to sit passive now and scared, you're going to let the tech shape you, as opposed to going, I'm going to learn about this and I as a human can shape the tech moving forward. So
all the sound bites tonight, aren't you?
All the sound bites. I've got them all. And also just one thing as well that I say to focus on, folks, is I just sent an email out to 36,000 actors this week. And I asked them what's the one roadblock that's stopping them from getting where they want to be and how I could help them with that. Because I want to create content, obviously, for Acts On This and for our members to be able to help them with that in 2026. Please, 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 please. One of the main things you can focus on now, regardless of AI or anything, is your mindset. There are, and I mean this with so much love, but there are so many people, and thank you so much for the replies that you sent me. And not everybody, but there are so many. Obviously, 36,000 people got this email. I've had hundreds of replies. There are so many people who start their reply off with like, you know, here's my roadblock, I'm not getting enough auditions, or I need a new agent or something like that. And they tell me how passionate they are about this industry and how it's the only thing that they want to do and they just want to spend more time in front of the camera. And one of the other questions I asked them is like, you know, one, I just want to know as a business why, you know, if you need help with this, haven't you got involved with the actonthis.tv membership? And if you're not joining us on the live calls that we do with the biggest casting directors, etc., in the game every week, what's held you back? Because as a business owner, I want to know if I can create better content, or I can just, you know, articulate what we offer at Acts On This better to get you to come on board so that I can help you achieve those things you want. So many people, again, I just mean it. There's no real sort of nice way to sort of sugarcoat this. So many people gave the flimsiest excuses possible around time. You know, obviously we do these live calls every week. Thanks, people have been here an hour and 10 minutes. If you've been here from the start, that's a great little investment in your time, and hopefully this has been useful for you. But we do like a 90-minute call a week with a top guest. And if people that have been on the one this week with Lewis Arnold and The Hack, they'd now know who Lewis is and how he works, how Victor Jenkins works. They'd now have Victor Jenkins' email address. They'd know what he wants from you in an email. He's so happy to see people who don't even have an agent. We talked about that. You'd get all that now, but you would have to have invested, a couple of hours of your time this week in that call. But you'd now be ahead, of loads of your competition. And yet so many people were like, I just don't have time. Don't have time for those calls are too long, 2 hours. And I'm like, well, I give you the audio. We record them, and I give you the audio-only version to go and listen to as a podcast while you're walking the dog, or you're in the car, or you're on the train going to work, you're in the gym. And the reality is they can't be bothered. They tell me they want this stuff, and you give people an opportunity to come and learn of how to progress their career quickly, and they don't want it. They like the romantic idea of going, I want to be an actor. And what I'll do is, rather than actually putting time, the 2 hours I could have put into that call with Victor and Lewis this week and learned all about that, and learned from Neil Maskell, the great actor, how he's built his career. Rather than doing that, I'm going to spend an hour and a half scrolling Instagram complaining about AI and Tilly Norwood. I'm going to watch every piece of content she's put out. I'm going to read all the statements, that have been put out about her, and I'm going to shout violently under some post by Equity about how this is terrible. Where actually, and again, with respect, you don't have a job for Tilly to rob. So double down on having a can-do attitude, put in the work in. I promise you that actors who I see achieving the greatest things in this industry have not done it by fluke and luck. There's been a sprinkling of luck, but they've worked hard. They've worked really, 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 really hard. There you are, Brindorn. I've been chatting with Lewis on Insta since the podcast. Nice guy. This is what I mean. And you might not have known about him. I mean, you've been in the community a while. We've had Lewis on a few times. But, you know more about him now, so you feel confident to approach him, Bryn. And the guy's, directing the biggest high-end dramas in the UK. He'll go on to do Marvel stuff. I'm sure that's his goal. And you start, getting in with him now and add value to his life, and he gives you a small role on something or an opportunity. And then when eventually, he's on the way up, you're on the way up, you both start working on something massive down the line. But there's so many actors who just can't be arsed. And you're saying you want it, but you just don't. And that's fine. That's absolutely fine. You don't have to, if you don't want to put the work in, that's absolutely fine. There's so many other things you can do. There's not throwing any shade on anybody, but this is an industry that just requires a shit ton of work and real dedication and consistency, that word above anything else. You cannot not be successful if you're consistent. If you keep being consistent, at some point, it will pop off. And it could be, Tom had this. Tom worked for years, Tom Housden. He just got his first TV job this year. He's been hustling for 3 years for it, but now he's away. Alex says, Act On This is so cheap compared to other courses. I had a free Zoom with a voiceover artist who was a training website. Then they quoted me £445 a month. Wow, to be a member of their course. I'll bring you cheers, Alex. I'll bring you the biggest names in the industry every single week for £7 a week. I'll make it as cheap as I possibly can. If anyone's watching this and you've never been a member before, we give a few half-price months away to new members just once, like a week. We have a limited amount for people who've never tried it out before, just so you can come and test it and feel like you've got no risk. I think there's a couple available for this week. If you go to actonthis.tv/half, I think there's 2 left for this week. Go and grab a half-price month with us, and just let me prove to you how supportive we will be of you and the quality of the people that we'll introduce you to. Thank you, Samantha. Says there's so much value in the members area. I love listening to the podcast and walking the dog. Molly's asking, yeah, Samantha, that's it. Honestly, it would take you. It's a 15-minute commitment a day, a 2-hour live, 15 minutes a day. You've covered it, and you're at the forefront of TV, in the forefront of in the top 1% of actors who know what they're doing in this industry. But I really appreciate all the replies that I got, but there were so many. I was getting so frustrated, Petch, for the actors who were replying, because I'm like, oh my God, you're good, and if you just put the effort in. I just wanted to jump into the screen and shake him a bit and go, let me show you. If you just if you just work a bit harder than everyone else, because you'll find 2 hours, I promise you, to scroll your Instagram, to watch your Netflix show, to spend time on the phone to your mates or whatever. It just takes a bit of dedication. Also quoted £2,000 for a voice reel. You don't need to pay more than £500 for a voice reel, Alex. You can get one of the best voice reels in the industry for £500, mate. £2,000 is wild. Yeah, be careful. Do your due diligence.
Yvonne said it's so worth it. It's definitely changed my acting motivation for the better.
Yes, Yvonne. It's just because it's so doable. The industry's so doable. So many people spend years banging their head against the wall because all they do is they go to class every week and complain about them not having any work. You don't have to. Once your craft is of a certain level, you don't have to keep going to the same acting class for 10 years. You need to know the business side of this business and how it actually works. Then you'll start earning money.
Ruth says the quality of Act On This is unbeatable.
Yes, Ruth, we haven't paid anyone for this, by the way.
And Charlie has said, I've actually forgotten there was an audio option. I will start using that.
Oh, Charlie, yeah. Honestly, just for anybody who's never been on before, I know we've got to wrap this up in a second, because you want to finish work, mate.
I do. Charlie's asked another question, which I want to bring it back to in just a second, though.
Yeah, I'm just going to share my browser one sec and just show people, the members area on Act On This. So this is actonthis.tv. I'm just going to have to log in. Once you get a membership, I say it'll cost you like £7 a week. You'll get access to over 100 features instantly inside the premium membership here with the biggest names in the game. This was the one that we did this week. The making and casting of ITV's The Hack with director Lewis Arnold, casting director Victor Jenkins, and actor Neil Maskell. You got the video here, and I get it. People are like, oh my God, I don't want to watch a nearly 3-hour video. Oh, it is 3 hours. It's a long one, that. They're not normally that long. But below it, I'll always give you the audio-only version. Press play on that, lock your phone, get it in your pocket, walk the dog, get your 10,000 steps in. Most are only an hour and a half long. If you just spend 15 minutes a day, you'll be on it, and you'll have all of these guys' contact info, exactly what they want, how they work on set, how they audition people, how to get auditions from Victor, who's on his team, how to work with Lewis when you get the job, what would impress him on a self-tape, all the inside info that's actually going to help you get work, that if you got one line on The Hack would probably pay you $2,500-3 grand. But you can't be arsed. You've not got 2 hours to put into it, or 3 hours to put into it a week. Come on. So go on, Petch.
India said, learn more from Act On This than I would have at RADA, just saying.
That's an India. We don't see people how to act, by the way, just as a caveat.
Brindon has said, actors cannot exist in isolation. Since I joined Act On This 7 years ago, I have never felt isolated. It is a true community.
Yes, Brindon. And that's because you show up as well, mate. And I appreciate that, because you've never made an excuse. Even when Brindon was a nurse and he was working nights, he would show up on our live streams at like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night when we were doing them on a Tuesday or a Thursday. And he'd be at work having a break. You've never used an excuse, Brindon, like I'm too busy, or you deserve the success you're having, mate, because you're a hustler. I respect it.
Nice. So back to Craig. Charlie Craig has said, I'm not worried about AI. I'm worried about AGI. I don't know how far away that is, but it's bloody scary. What do you know about AGI?
What is AGI? I don't even know what that is. Let me Google it. Charlie Craig, tell me what AGI is. What is AGI? Artificial General Intelligence. It's a hypothetical type of AI that could perform any intellectual task a human can. Unlike the current narrow AI that is designed for specific tasks, AGI systems would possess human-like cognitive abilities, allowing them to understand, learn, and apply knowledge across a wide range of general problems without being pre-programmed for them. Charlie, I have no idea about this whatsoever. General capabilities, it will be flexible and resourceful, able to apply knowledge and learn new skills in situations it wasn't originally trained for, much like a human can. Autonomous control. An AGI would have a degree of self-understanding, control over its actions, allowing it to act autonomously. Wow, okay, so it says, versus the current AI, today's AI, such as large language models, excel at specific tasks like image generation, text completion, but lack broad understanding. AGI would be able to perform tasks it hasn't specifically trained for, adapt to new contexts, and possess a deep general understanding of the world. Well, that's something to look at on the next broadcast, Charlie. Literally no idea. I mean, again, just like everything, right? You've got to realise that when the internet came out, so many people were afraid of it. Oh, it's going to corrupt the youth. And there is a dark side of the internet, isn't there? There's a dark side, there's a dark web, there's a light web. There will be good on AI, there'll be bad. It's down to us who are the good guys to make sure that we override the bad. But I'll have to learn more about that, Charlie, but thanks for letting me even be aware of it.
Alex watched a Stephen Bartlett podcast about AGI. It was with a computer scientist, so maybe check that out.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, ultimately, they're probably like, look, these robots are going to become so lifelike. You will walk down the street, you won't know who's a robot, who isn't. We'll probably end up marrying robots at some point.
So it's actually Kenton. It's Kenton, not Charlie Craig.
Oh, is it Kenton? Have you seen Terminator? Right. Well, at the point Terminators are walking down the street, Kenton, I'm probably staying in, mate, to be honest. Yeah. I'm going to hopefully try and be as successful as I can as an actor before then, earn as much money as possible that I just don't have to partake in society at that point. I can order Deliveroo and just stay inside, and hopefully Terminator will not know where I am. But yeah, that's an interesting one. I will check that out for sure. But yeah, hopefully you found this useful, guys. Just wanted to come on, have a chat about this sort of stuff rather than read headlines. I think they can just be like scary, and obviously they're sensationally driven. We know that if Deadline put an article out with a sensational headline, they get more clicks, they get to sell more revenue, they get more revenue for their advertising and that sort of stuff. But ultimately, to really wrap it all, like, will Tilly Norwood take your job? Probably not. I'm pretty certain, she's not going to be coming after the level of jobs that we're working at right now. She should wake you up, though, to how fast the industry is changing. I think actors who bury their heads in the sand are genuinely going to get left behind. I said that before. Those who adapt, learn, protect their value, I think they'll thrive, they'll be fine. And if you want to stay ahead, again, just a little pitch here again, but if you want to stay ahead and you want to interact with humans every single week, the biggest names in the game, please get an Act On This membership. Try us for a month. It will change the way you approach your business. And so many members this year who have acted on the advice have landed jobs that they wouldn't have got otherwise. So actonthis.tv, come and get involved. Anything else you want to say, Petch?
Yeah, you're going to slide into Tilly's DMs.
Yeah, well, I'm single. I think a virtual girlfriend's probably about as successful as I'm going to get this year. So, yeah, Tilly, if you're watching, if you're in London, though, it's a bit of a trek, innit? But if you're free tomorrow afternoon, maybe we could get a Starbucks, something like that.
It would be nice to get like her creators on Act On This to have a chat.
Oh yeah, because I didn't read it, but if you go, we're out of time now. But if you go to Tilly Norwood's Instagram, if I go here and just go back on here, there is this here where her creator put out a like a statement saying, look, to those who have expressed anger over the creation of our AI character Tilly, she's not a replacement for a human being, but a creative work, a piece of art. Like many forms of art before her, she sparks conversation, and that in itself shows the power of creativity. You can read the rest on there, but yeah, it's not designed to just go, right, I'm going to take over. And I just think in terms of the collective nature of this industry, the first agent that signs all AI people and just goes, right, we're not going to look after our actual humans, they're not going to be very popular, are they? They're not going to stick around very long. I think together as a collective, we'll look after ourselves anyway. But thank you, folks. Really appreciate it. I'm going to finish by playing out.
Before you do that, it is YouTube after all. Please, can you like this video? If you're watching over on YouTube, please, can you subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know when we're going to go live in future. Please, can you share this video to everybody who's talking about AI at the moment and Tilly Norwood? Like, let's get the conversation going. Head over to our socials at Act On This TV across the board. Please follow us. Please like us. Please be our friends.
Please like us. And thanks for subscribing. Some people saying subscribe. Thank you. Yeah, we will go live as often as we can. Yeah, tag Tilly Norwood. Tell it we'll get her on for a chat. At some point, we'll see how good she really is. And yeah, what I'm going to do to finish, I'm just going to play out the little mashup, like a trailer of what the call we had this week with Lewis. We already mentioned him, Victor and Neil, talking about ITV's The Hack. If you've not seen this drama, I'm loving it. It's a 7-part drama based on the phone hacking scandal. Stars David Tennant, Toby Jones, and Robert Carlyle. Fantastic acting, really good acting. So I'm going to play this little trailer right now. You can unlock the full 3-hour chat. It's a big one if you get an Act On This membership. But don't forget, if you go to actonthis.tv/half, if you're quick, there's 2 half-price memberships left this week. Just for your first month. If you're a brand new member, you get your first month half price just so you can test it out and realise we're legit. That's available for you as well. actonthis.tv/half. So if you kill the music, Petch, I will take us off screen. We will say our immortal words, and we'll let everyone go for the weekend. But thank you for tuning in. Means the world. Don't be afraid of AI. Take control of it. Play around with it this weekend, and we'll catch you up next week. Oh, we've got Ruth Carney, director, coming on next week, by the way, for Act On This members. Ruth Carney, she's just doing a brand new drama with James Nelson Joyce, or she might have just done it, actually. She has done Call the Midwife recently, Waterloo Road recently, and she's just a bloody legend. She's not been on for 2 years on Act On This, so we're getting her back on this week. And I've got loads of other new guests to announce as well.
First female director of Brassic, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was. Yeah, first female director of Brassic, yeah. She's just ace, Ruth. Proper, down-to-earth, working-class woman, just tells it how it is. She's fantastic. She'd slap Tilly Norwood in the face, I'll tell you that. Only if she gave cheek. She's not violent. Sorry, Ruth. She's lovely. She's an amazing woman. Right. I'm going to take us off screen, Petch, play this trailer out, and we'll see you, next Tuesday night with Ruth Carney. Be there. Until then, you know what time it is, Petch. 3, 2, 1.
Bye
for now. Nice. I think that's sort of in time, at least my end, anyway. Right. Taking us off the screen here. How do I do it? Do this. See you later, folks. Go check this out in the members area. director of The Hack, Lewis Arnold, casting director Victor Jenkins, and one of the stars of the show is actor Neil Maskell. Gentlemen, welcome to Act On This. Tonight, we are going to dive deep into brand new ITV drama, The Hack. We're going to explain how Victor and Lewis cast it, how Lewis directed the show, how the cast worked with Lewis on set, and how you can get on the team's radar for upcoming projects too.
My name is Nick Davies, and this is a story that ends in 7 major police investigations, nearly 40 convictions, and some of the most powerful people in this country being brought to their knees.
Redacted, sorry. I want to work with people that I know aren't difficult, that I know are talented, that I enjoy creating and being on set with.
Lewis is, of all the directors I've worked with, the most obviously focused on story, on where we are in the story, where the characters are in the story, and what bit of the story this is telling.
Victor Jenkins, cast director, Seth is cast an associate, Anna cast an assistant.
Seth is absolutely my right hand now. I mean, he's kind of great, and him and Lewis have a good relationship as well. Anna does a lot of the admin stuff.
We pick a role and then we'll sort of do a call out and a self-tape for that role, and we write lists of people that are really good, and then the people that we really like, we're like, let's just find something for them in here.
Walk us through what you're doing in your head when you're creating these.
Early on in the job, when I've still got the energy, and some of them, if I can find one, there you go, I've got like reference images and stuff, so there's references for my own work.
Do you work with actors that don't have agents?
Email comes in, this is Mitch, click on the link, here it is, I can see your stuff, boom, it happens in 1 minute.
Can you recall like any small but important things that have helped actors really leave an impression?
It's just giving people the essence of what it could be, of what you are, who you are, your interpretation of the material.
Sometimes you could be given a note to see if you're directable. It might be a note that's completely wrong for the part, but we want to see if you can do something with it.
Being kind to yourself and realising that you're not alone is kind of a big thing, really.
We want you to be good and we want to enjoy what you're doing.